Part 3, Propose and Close. In this section of the call, what we're looking to do is take the information that we got from them when we skillfully extracted the information about their overall situation, what their needs and greeds are, and we simply take that and put it back to them in a way that's going to be a real solution, a proposition of a solution. We don't want to give a presentation. We don't want to give some long, drawn-out thing where we're trying to convince anybody of anything. We first got to find out what their situation is and then craft and create a potential solution that would work for them. So let's go ahead and give you an example of what this might sound like. And first thing you're going to notice, what I'll be saying here is we're going to transition from the qualification stage to the propose and close in as seamless a way as possible. So here's a live demonstration example. Well, Frank, based on what you're telling me, it sounds like I might have a couple really good solutions that would work for you and for me and help us get what we both want out of this situation when we buy your house. Would it be all right to share this with you now? Okay, awesome. Thank you. So listen, I don't know if you'd be interested in this or not, but what if there was a way we could buy your house as it is right now at a decent price that works for you and for me, close whenever you're ready, and make this a really easy transaction so you and your family can move on out to San Diego where your next job transfer is as soon as you're ready, and you never have to worry about this house ever again. Would something like that work for you? Or maybe not? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, as I mentioned, I'm an investor, and there's typically two ways I buy houses, either cash or terms. And when I buy houses for all cash, these are typically houses that need a lot of work. We have to come in there with our contracting crews and fix them up. We're taking on a lot of risk. We have to make sure everything is done properly, and then we have to effectively market the property and do everything of this nature. Kind of like what you see on those so-called reality TV shows, like those flipping shows. I don't know if you ever watched those. And again, when we do this, we have to buy the house at a really big discount in order to justify the risk and expenses that we're taking on. So that doesn't describe your house, right? Your house is not needing a ton of work, right? Exactly. So your house is it's a beautiful place. So for a house like yours, what we would do is we can do what we buy with what we call terms, and this is where we can pay a lot more for the property, maybe even your full asking price. I don't know until we have a chance to really look at things, but what we can do with this is we can help you save the closing costs and commissions that you typically would pay the traditional sale, and we buy directly from you, just like you're selling, and we mail it. It's a really easy transaction. It's a really easy way to sell your house, and it works out really well. But the only thing we would ask is that if you have a little bit of flexibility with the time it takes you to get paid and get cashed out for your property. Is that something that we could discuss, or do you have to get all your cash when you close? Okay, so that's it right there. We're just simply giving them a concept, an idea, and we're introducing it in a way that makes sense. It diminuates the harshness of if you were to just come right out and say owner financing or lease purchase. And by the way, never use those words unless someone else brings them up first, and then they can clearly demonstrate that they understand what that means. So this is a simple way to introduce your possibility there. All right. So if you're going to transition right after this to the negotiating, which is fine, you would simply get to the $1 million script, which is where you're going to be talking to them about price, down payment, monthly payment, and the term. Okay. And the way that you could do that is something along these lines. All right. Here's another demonstration. So, Frank, in order to make this work, there's simply just a few questions I would need to ask you to see what we can possibly have happen. Would it be all right to ask you those questions now? Excellent. Thank you. All right. So the first thing I would like to ask is if we can buy your house from you and work this out, close whenever you're ready, make this really easy for you. What do you think the least you'd be willing to accept for your property would be? And whatever he says, if he gives you a price, then you say, ooh, is that the best you can do? With a little doubt in your voice. Okay? Then the next thing is, well, if we're going to be paying a good price for your property, we usually buy for nothing down, okay? Just like that, because that's smooth. You'll be surprised at how quickly and often they say, okay. So that's the down payment. If they do say, well, I need some money down, then you negotiate. Well, what's the least you need? Is that the best you can do? Now, when you're on the phone, Don't negotiate too hard. On the phone, negotiate gently on the phone and more aggressively in person. Okay? So just remember that for now. You're just trying to probe for flexibility here. So moving on, we get to the monthly payment. And we talk about the monthly payment. We have two possibilities. They either have a mortgage on the property or they own it free and clear. Now, if they have a mortgage on the property, we're going to ask something along the lines of this, okay? We say, so what we would do is we would simply make your monthly mortgage payments for you, including the taxes and insurance, until we're able to get you cashed out, okay? Just like that. And if they own the property, free and clear, then you would say, so what do you think the least you'd be willing to accept for a monthly payment on this house would be? Simply like that. And negotiate very lightly. Okay? Finally, we come across to the term, and sometimes we'll ask them this, sometimes we'll just breeze by it if we sense that they have true flexibility and motivation. But if we do want to talk to them, we would ask them right here, what's the longest you could give us to pay you off? Okay? And if they hopefully will give us a nice term, and then we negotiate. If they say, well, what time you need? Then they say, well, we usually get 30 years. 30 years? Oh my God, I can't do that. Okay, well, I can understand that. We can work with you. Always indicate that you're willing to work with them, that you want to do things one way, but you're flexible. Okay? So, if they say, I can't do 30 years, okay, well, what's the longest you could give us? Oh, maybe 3 months. 3 months? Oh my God, that's really not going to work. We would really like to get, maybe closer to 10 years if we can. But again, we can understand that you might need your money faster. That's fine. So can you give us maybe, and by the way, when we do this, we often are able to pay you off a lot faster than we originally think. We just don't want to paint ourselves into a corner. So do you think you can give us maybe 5 years to get you paid off? I don't know. I might be able to get a year or two. Okay. Well, that probably won't work for us. So what would you say the least amount of time we could probably do is maybe 3 years? Would that work for you? Okay, maybe we could do 3 years. And you negotiate. Okay? Whatever they're asking for, it's not going to be the bottom line thing. We're just, again, trying to negotiate to see what we can do. Okay? And that right there is as simple as it gets. That is the propose and close, part 3, part of your 3 steps. Okay? This is where the rubber really meets the road when we look to negotiate a deal. Okay? Now, let's move on to the final part of this, which is just to simply wrap this call up and set whatever the next steps up need to be.